This first essential question in Module 1 asks us to really understand, analyze, and compare the concepts of what children should learn regarding math and science and cognitive and learning development theories. If we start with the phrase, the old quote that many of us have heard regarding how much we remember that we read versus that we do versus that we teach, then that is pulling from this cone of learning that is a research concept Our first essential question asks us to really blend together the concepts of what children should be learning in math and science in the very young first years and the cognitive and development learning theories that we have studied in previous early childhood courses. Many of us have heard Edgar Dale's research referred to by presenters regarding, and you'll hear different statistics or words used, but essentially that lecture and reading, we remember very little. Yet when we turn around and teach others, we remember and are able to understand a lot more. It makes sense, right? This is a general understanding of this cone of learning of hear or see, actually read and, or not read and doing together, or discussing something or practicing and then teaching, how that deepens our understanding and long-term retention of concepts. That could also go directly here to Piaget and the constructivism view of how we develop cognitive understanding of our world. Sensory motor stage, those very first 2 years, children learn by putting things in their mouth, by touching, by trying. It's very primitive, this type of investigation and exploration, and it is essential in understanding our world. This leads into concepts such as object permanence, by playing peekaboo or looking for a favorite toy, or mom and dad returning from being gone or out of the room for a little bit. So you can see these concepts and this growth and understanding of the world develop right in front of your eyes. It's great fun watching children grow and change and learn and understand in those first few years. It just happens so quickly. You see so much of it. I think we would all agree it's truly fun and just amazing to watch that happen. The pre-operational phase from ages 2 to 7 is the child begins to use language. They begin to understand more language. They begin using symbols to communicate. They understand the concrete permanence of objects, even when they're not there, and how to find them again. There's a lot that starts to happen, and you slowly start this progression away from concrete and into a more abstract understanding of the world and an ability to communicate. So when you put that against those math concepts, you look here at this chart from our textbook that shows the different Piaget theories and then these math concepts and science concepts. We can see how this fits into child's development and actual, school and academic skills, right? So later on, not right now, but later on when we come back and we talk about learning standards, and our textbook does get into it just a little bit here in our first 2 chapters. When we look at these school standards, we have to ask ourselves, are they matching what we know about a child's true capabilities. And we have a problem in education that sometimes we get a little overzealous about teaching, and just because you can teach a child something doesn't mean it's really maybe the best use of our time, because it becomes an argument, a debate about, is the child really ready for that concept? Even though you could do a lot of pre-algebra kinds of concepts in preschool, is that really the best use of our time? Probably not. I used to find it fun to sit with some of my college roommates, and they were chemistry pre-med type majors. I was an education major, and so I did not have to take organic chemistry, but there were parts of that class that I thought were kind of entertaining to learn to do. I had no use for it. I could not tell you now how to do any of it. It's kind of a fun, low-risk example of, just because I could do it doesn't mean I really needed to do it. It was fun, it was entertaining, but beyond that, it just hasn't had meaning to my life, right? I haven't had to use it. And so you have to think about that and consider this as well when working with children. You can sit there and you can teach a child at the age of 3. Most children, if you really drilled it, you could teach them to recognize every number. It's only 10. But would that be the best use of your time? And would that be truly meaningful and helpful to that 3-year-old? It really isn't. So there's better ways, there's more natural ways to do that. And our essential understanding here gets into how these conceptual understandings in preschool then translate later on in K-12 to much more sophisticated skills and concepts, but that you really have to take time to appreciate, to allow for process and depth of exploration in those early years, so that you have a stronger foundation from which to go and build in your K-12 years. Lastly, then, this gets into what our textbook talks about as the type of learning experiences of naturalistic versus informal versus adult guided. Naturalistic is that toddler where you build the tower and the toddler knocks it down. You build the tower and the toddler knocks it down. That playful learning that happens. It's the child in the high chair playing with their food, making a mess, understanding how they can squeeze mashed potatoes in between their fingers, but that raw carrot just does not smush in the same way. It's the playing in the bathtub of pouring water from one cup to another cup, and how that same amount of water transfers into this new vessel, and how it either overflows or it doesn't. The cups with the different holes, how one cup will just pour water so quickly and the other one drips ever so slowly, and why that might happen. That is naturalistic learning. Informal learning comes from that interaction, most often from an adult or an older child. And that informal learning is helping to set the table for even a toddler. Put a fork by each plate, and the toddler puts a fork by each plate. That toddler is learning one-to-one correspondence. It's informal. It's part of their routine. Folding clothes or watching a family member fold clothes, children begin to have a concept of geometry and symmetry. And so this type of informal learning, cooking with a child, is teaching them mathematical and scientific concepts. Adult guided is more obvious. It's that activity that the adult has chosen. Maybe it's playful, maybe it's more academic and product based, but it's going to be chosen by the adult. The adult is the center of the attention and is controlling that experience. So all these really build on each other, because if we take this idea of the types of learning experiences, naturalistic, informal, and adult guided, and we go way back up here to our cone of learning, we realize that the adult guided is there at the top, where the naturalistic and informal is really that demonstration concept on down to the cone. If we look here at constructivism and Piaget, we realize that the adult guided is more about those formal operations, whereas sensory motor, pre-operational, and concrete operations are really more about that naturalistic exploration in sensory motor and pre-operational, and then a blending of your naturalistic and your informal as you move further into pre-operational and concrete. And so you kind of see how these concepts are all weaving together very intricately to create a quality math and science experience for cognitive development for your young child.